In this video, we're installing an overhead on a C11 engine. The cylinder head has been installed, as well as the injectors. Now it's time for valve bridges, push rods, and the rocker assembly. We will start by putting some assembly grease on top of each valve stem. The valve bridges are not lubricated by the oil galleries, they're splash fed by just oil being flung around underneath the tappet cover. Next go on the valve bridges. They go over both intake valves and both exhaust valves per cylinder. You can end for end the valve bridge, it doesn't matter which way it goes on as long as it goes over both valves. There is a little hole at each end of the valve bridge to allow oil to come down and lubricate between the valve bridge and the valve stem. And next we'll put some assembly grease on where the rocker arm will contact the valve bridge. Looking down at the cam followers, we'll put a bit of assembly grease down there as well on each follower. Next we have to install the push rods. There's 3 push rods per cylinder. The large one in the middle fires the injectors. The 2 smaller ones, one's for the intake, one's for the exhaust. They're the same part number. There's 3 rocker arm assemblies to go on this engine. One rocker arm does 2 cylinders. You just lay your rocker arm assembly. If you want to see how to put them together, there's a video on the playlist on that. You sit it down on top and you've got to make sure that all your adjustment screws are loose, and I would wind them back a bit until you get all your push rods in. It's also a good idea to put some assembly grease on top of each injector plunger. So making sure the push rods are lined up, I'm just winding the bolts down with a rattle gun here. I'll bring it down properly with a ratchet in a minute, and just make sure as you're bringing it down that your push rods are in the right place. They'll fall out from underneath the rocker arm every now and then when you're bringing it down. You've just got to keep an eye on them. You need to bring the rocker arm assembly down evenly and just make sure that your push rods are in the right spot, and even wind the adjustment screws back if you need to. I've got this engine at TDC 1. It wouldn't matter technically where you are as long as your engine's timed properly. As you bring the rocker arm assembly down, you're going to push on your valves, but everything, your pistons will be in the right position, so you're not going to crunch a valve or anything like that. The push rods are underneath the adjustment screw and they're loose, as you can see. The torque for the hold down bolts is 100 Newton meters, and CAT specifies to torque it up in the pattern that I'm doing now. You can see I've put all the rocker assemblies on, and now I'm doing the final torque. You can put them on and torque them down one at a time, or you can put them on in any order you want. You could put 3 and 4 on first, and then put the rocker assembly on for 5 and 6, and then go back to 1 and 2. It doesn't matter. They're individual to each set of cylinders. and then we'll finish it off by torque striping each bolt head with a paint pen. Next thing to do is to set the valve lash and injector height. In my channel there's a video on C12 tune-up. It's got the exact same principle as this C11, and even the intake exhaust clearance and the injector height is done exactly the same, so go check that out if you want to see about how to do the valve lash and injector height. Except on that truck engine there's a engine brake. The C11 doesn't have an engine brake, so just ignore that bit. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below.